Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will be discussing customer equity. In the previous class we discussed the 4 stages of brand equity building and how brand equity is you start building brand equity by first creating awareness for the brand, and you use all types of media which includes electronic media, social media, out of home advertising, print media, and radio, and all the resources that are available to you to carry out different marketing programs, marketing activities. So once you've created awareness for your brand, then you move up to create image of your brand. And when the customer goes into the market and he or she purchases your brand, then they start consuming it. If it's a service, they experience it. If it's a product, they consume it. So while consumption of the product, then they realize the actual performance of your product. And if that performance matches the image in their mind and what they've heard in the awareness campaign, then these customers think of your brand as a reliable, dependable brand. And over a period of time, when you keep using this brand, then you move up to the 3rd stage of brand equity building, where you develop good feelings for the brand and you pass a judgment that this is the best brand that you would keep on using and you would not switch to any other brand. And finally, you become brand loyal. So today we will be focusing on brand equity. How is brand equity related with customer equity? Customer equity, many firms have mentioned and they have introduced customer relationship marketing programs to improve customers' interaction. Some marketing programs observe that they encourage the firm to formally define and manage the value of their customers. Why? Because customer equity is combination of brand equity, value equity, and relationship equity. Right? We would be discussing this in detail, but value equity is the objective assessment of the customer about the brand. All the features and benefits that your brand has and the qualities that your product has, they consist of the value equity that your brand carries. And if your product has been manufactured using top quality materials and it has a very nice packaging and the technology that you've used is A class, so there's nothing wrong with the value equity of that brand, right? Then brand equity is the subjective assessment of the customer about your brand. So when the customer makes a subjective assessment, then he or she has a particular frame of reference, and according to their knowledge base, their likes and dislikes, what is relevant for them and what is not relevant for them, right? All of these things combined, they have an opinion of their own about a certain product or a service. So this is their subjective assessment of your product or of your service, and that can vary from person to person. But if your product is made from A quality material and it has been approved by a specific testing laboratory or an authority, then they cannot say anything bad about your product because there's nothing wrong with the quality. What they can say is that I don't like the packaging, okay, but I don't like the style or the design of this product, or the other product seems more attractive to me, things of that sort. So it is a subjective assessment of the customer about your brand. And then relationship equity is linked with the relationship of the customer with your brand. How have you developed your relationship over a period of time? How have you provided after sales services to the brand? How are you sensitive to the needs of the customer? If ever the customer calls you, is your customer service department very active and agile, and they respond quickly to the customer who has a query or who has a complaint that he or she wants to make, right? Then you have your loyalty programs, which are made to build a long-term relationship with the customer over a period of time. So let's see that some marketing observers encourage firms to formally define and manage the value of their customers. The concept of customer equity can be useful in that regard. Although we can define customer equity in different ways, one definition calls it the sum of lifetime values of all customers. Your brand was introduced 60 years from today, okay? And on the first day, only a few customers bought that brand. But ever since, thousands and yet millions of customers have bought your brand, they have used your brand, and then they have repeatedly gone into the process of repurchasing it and using it again and again and over a period of time. So the sum of lifetime values of all customers who have ever come across your brand and used your brand and they are satisfied with your brand is what defines your customer equity. Customer lifetime value, CLV, is affected by revenue and by the cost of customer. At one point in time, the customer came to your shop and he or she bought that the new arrival of clothing at the skimming prices, at the full price, right? Then 3 months down the road, when you had offered a discount of 30% off, then they came back again and they bought some more garments from your shop. So you are going to calculate the revenue that you have collected from that customer plus the cost of customer. At one point in time, she paid you the full amount at the skimming prices that you were charging, and at another incident they paid you less money because there was a 30% discount going on. So if you look at one customer over a period of 10 years, for the past 10 years, she is your loyalty member and she has a loyalty member card, and whenever she comes to your outlet, after making a purchase, that card is swiped and she earns reward points or loyalty points. So at the end of 10 years, if you're going to see, there will be incidents where the customer has enjoyed rewards in the form of discounts that you offered. Then the points that were accumulated, in return for those points, your company gave them a suit for free, right? So the company did not earn even a single rupee on that transaction, but it made your customer happy. And that's what made your customer keep on coming back to your shop over and over again. But if you look at purely in financial terms, you will look at all the revenue that you've earned from this customer, and then what was the margin that the company enjoyed, how much profit the company has made from that particular customer. Blatberg and Dayton guidelines as a means of maximizing customer equity. Now they did some real good research and they came up with these guidelines that how can you maximize customer equity. It may vary from product to product category and from country to country. Why? Because the culture of every country and the way people assign importance to a particular product, that also varies. And different, when you are evaluating different age groups, then there are some variations that you cannot have a single formula for all the customers living all over the world and for all the age groups, right? Invest in high value customers first. So who are your high value customers? That whenever you introduce a new brand, they are innovators who just walk in, and at that time you are charging skimming prices, and you have introduced this new range of products, or you have introduced a new smartphone, you've introduced a new laptop, or this a new car model of 2021 that you have launched. So they would just come and pick up that product, and the company would end up making the highest possible profit that it had planned. So Blattberg suggests that you should invest in your highest value customers first. These are the customers who are who should be at the top of your priority list whenever you have to give them a reward, or whenever you have to make them happy through your loyalty programs or your special customized motions. Transform product management into customer management. Rather than managing your product, you should manage your customer. This is what Lexus does. Lexus pays so much attention to its customers that even if that customer has a small scratch on the car, they make sure that they take the car to their workshop where the denting and the paint shop team, they use all the different light abrasives and filling materials and polishing materials, and what they end up doing is that after 3 or 4 hours of work on your car looks like new again, right? So they work on customer management. They are always focused on making the customers happy, because if the customer is happy, then he or she is going to keep coming back to your brand outlet and keep on purchasing your brand, right? Because the decision maker is the customer, not the product. That's why you have to focus on customer management. Consider how add-on sales and cross-selling can increase customer equity. How would you consider how an add-on sales and cross-selling can increase customer equity? Where you are trying to give something extra to the customer would feel very obliged and they will feel very happy, right? It doesn't matter that in the process you are also selling that product to the customer, but what he sees it as a bundle deal. Okay, you're giving the original product that they came for to purchase from your outlet, and then you're giving something of their interest with it, and you're not charging the exact price, list price of that product, because you're offering it as a bundle deal. So you can always cross sell your products to these customers, and you can increase your customer equity. Why? Because the revenue received from this particular customer would keep on increasing, and the company would end up making more profit and more revenue from this particular customer. Look for ways to reduce acquisition costs. How do you acquire customers? One way is that when you advertise on the television, you spend millions of dollars first developing the ad and then communicating it on the electronic media and social media and all the other media vehicles that are available to you. So you are incurring cost. Now you have to see the conversion rate. Millions of people saw your ad. How many actually came to your outlets to visit? And of those, how many did actually purchase products from your outlet? Now you cannot exactly quantify what your digital campaign has done for you, but you can make a ballpark figure, because you have your previous clients that were already your customers, and they're also visiting your shops and they are also buying things. And then there are these new customers who have seen your advertisement and they like your product and they want to try it out. They have come and they have also bought your product. So these are additional new customers. If you use a Uber ride and they tell you that, okay, if you introduce 10 of your friends to us, we will give you a ride for free. So what are you doing? You are getting introduced to 10 more customers, right? And you are giving a ride free to this existing customer. The cost of the ride is like 300 rupees because they limit it. It's not an unlimited ride. So you are incurring a cost of 300 rupees to acquire 10 customers. If all 10 of them use Uber, and they make sure that they use Uber by giving them offers as well. So at the end of the day, if they have given all those 10 customers a ride free as well, and that too for 300 rupees. So 300 into 10 is 3000, and the 300 that you spent on your existing client, 3300. So you spent 3300 rupees to acquire 10 new customers. Now that's a lot, and the amount of money that you spent is peanuts, right? So you have to what brands are nowadays, what they're doing is that they are going into universities and colleges, and they're picking up students on social media who are very active and they're very social. They ask them to become their brand ambassadors and the micro influencers, that if you introduce 50 of your friends to us and you make sure that they start using our product, so we are going to give you a badge and we will make you our micro influencer, and then they give you a gift basket with it and some other gifts just to make this person happy. So what you end up doing is that you are using the PR of this young boy or girl who studies in a college or in a university. You made them your brand ambassador and your micro influencer, and you have access to the student body of that university, and they're introducing 50 students to you, and those 50 customers can then go a long way in purchasing your products and becoming your loyalty customers. Track customer equity, gains and losses against marketing programs. Now, how are you going to track customer equity, gains and losses against marketing programs? If you have documented all your customers who are your existing customers by giving them loyalty cards for free, or you can if you cannot produce a loyalty card then and there, what you need to do is that you can make them your temporary member. This is what companies are doing. They have this card at the counter where they write your mobile number and they enter your details into their system, and then they give you this temporary card that you are a temporary loyalty member, and if you do 2 or 3 purchases in the meanwhile, we are going to process your plastic loyalty card which has that magnetic strip on it, and we will deliver it to your house or the whatever address that you've given us. So this way you can track your existing customers and your new customers who are coming in as a result of all the awareness campaign that you are running, and all the micro influencers and other people who you're asking for referrals, and you are trying to acquire new customers. And how are you going to calculate the losses? The losses would be like these companies, the telecommunication companies. They see that, okay, we have sold 6 million SIMs, but only 5 million SIMs are active. Now what does that mean? That people purchased your SIM, you have their record, they are your customers, but they are currently offline. They're not using your network. And why aren't they using your network? Because your competitors are giving them better service and better monetary offers and deals. So these companies then try to cover up for these losses by offering them a promotion that if you place your SIM in the phone right now, we are going to give you so many SMSs for free, so many minutes for free, and so much data package which you can use for 1 week without any payment. And this is how they try and make up for those losses. Then there are customers who have just stopped coming to your outlet and they have stopped purchasing your product. If it's a Total outlet, there was a regular customer who used to buy fuel from you, and once in after a month or month and a half, he used to get his lubricant engine oil changed as well, but he has or she has stopped coming. So your customer service department would call them up and would find out that what are the issues, why have they stopped coming to us, whether they have relocated to a new location and they are using Total services at in another city, right? So whatever the case is, all that is documented then. But there are some customers who have totally left purchasing your brand, and that is because of a number of reasons that they have experienced. So you would like to know all those reasons, and you would like to rectify those problems so that more existing customers might not leave you. Okay, so in order to retain your customers, you have to keep in touch with your customers and keep finding out even from your existing customers who are visiting you, that is how was your experience, was everything okay, how can we improve our service, and how can we improve our product. We like to know your comments, so you should ask them to fill a comment card, and that's how you can keep improving your marketing programs. Relate branding to customer equity. Always keep on relating branding to customer equity and how it translates into gains or losses. Only then you would be successful in building up your customer equity over a period of time. Monitor the intrinsic retainability of your customers. Consider writing separate marketing plans or even building two marketing organizations for acquisition and retention efforts. Now, Target is a store that gives discounts. So when you are going to monitor the intrinsic retainability of your customers, there's something else that you need to find out besides that they just came to your outlet just for the discount. Okay, how close is this outlet to your residence? How much you had to travel for this? How can we facilitate you? If we can make home deliveries, you have given us a list of the products that you like and the SKUs that you buy. Is this your monthly consumption? Like is this your how you do your monthly shopping? So we can save you the trouble of coming to the store and then going back and like spending like 2 hours time, and we would just make a package of all these goods and have it delivered at your location. So the customers would be, not all of the customers, some of the customers would like that idea. And they would say that after doing all this exercise, we ended up saving only 500 rupees. So if the store can save us all this hassle, and they can send us all these groceries, deliver all these groceries to our house, and don't give us that 500 rupee discount, we will still be their customers, right? So this is what Walmart is doing. They're giving different offers, that either we deliver the products to your house, then this is going to be the price that we will be charging you, or we assemble all the products, pack them up, and while you are driving from your office to your house, maybe you can stop over and our people would put all the groceries in your car, and then you can drive away. That way you can save additional $20, because you are saving us the hassle of delivering these groceries at your house, and by picking them up yourself, you're saving an additional $20. So there are people who are very price conscious, and who want to save every dollar that they can. So the store comes up with different offers for different customers. Consider writing separate marketing plans or even building two marketing organizations for acquisition and retention of efforts. Where retention is a separate effort that you are trying to retain your existing customers by offering them the best possible services that you can, so that they don't leave you and they don't churn away from you. While acquisition is another exercise where you have to acquire new customers and you have to bring them under your umbrella. Rust, Zithmal and Lemon, what did they do, and how is their research work helpful for customer equity? Rust, Zithmal and Lemon define customer equity as the discounted lifetime values of a firm's customer base. So this is the discounted lifetime value of a firm's customer base, and this customer base has been built over 150 years for Nestle. All its millions of customers all around the world. If you have to calculate the customer equity of Nestle, then you have to find out the discounted lifetime values of a firm's customer base. And every customer would have a history of the revenues that it provided to Nestle and the amount of profit Nestle made from this particular customer, provided you have the documented data about that customer. According to their view, customer equity is made up of three components and then key drivers. So the three main components are value equity, brand equity and relationship equity. Then each of these equities have key drivers. Now let's look at them one by one in detail. Value equity first. This is the objective assessment of the customer about the brand. Customers' objective assessment of the utility of a brand based on perceptions of what is given up for what is received. So what do you give up? You pay the price. So you give up your money, you forego your money, and what you receive is a product or a service. So the customer always makes a trade-off. He or she is paying this company money, and this company is in return giving her a good product or a very good service. What are the three key drivers of value equity when a customer is objectively assessing your brand, evaluating your brand? They look at the value equity in terms of quality. Now quality is again a debatable term. Why? Because if you look at cars, Honda City is quality, then Honda Civic is quality, then their advanced models, luxurious models, Honda Accord, Honda Acura, right? Honda Legend. All of these cars are quality cars. Why? Because they don't leave the plant before the quality checks have been performed, and they have been manufactured according to the international standards, right? Now the customer evaluates the quality in return for the money that he or she has paid for this particular product. So this is a trade-off. How much money did I pay and what level of quality did I receive in return? So the key drivers of value equity are quality, price and convenience. How much convenience have I received? Just like the example, just like I told you, that if you are experiencing convenience by having all the groceries delivered at your house and it saves you time, it is very quick, that meanwhile you can do something else and your need is fulfilled, that the groceries arrive at your house, right? You don't need separate transportation for it, and you have received a lot of experienced a lot of convenience by receiving all these products at your place where you wanted them. If there's office furniture or office equipment that has to be moved from one office to another, you would call TCS Overland. They will come to your office, they will pick up all the products that are to be sent, then they will pack them themselves, and they are going to make sure that the fragile products are like computers, they are taken good care of, and then these products are put into their TCS truck. This TCS truck then goes to your Multan office or your Hyderabad office, and then they deliver all those products inside your office, where you so that the people working in that office, their time is very precious. They don't have to go to the bus station or railway station to pick up the products. So TCS Overland service is from office to office. They pick up your products from one office and then they deliver it to the destination office. And if you want them to place the products on tables or in a specific room, they also do that, and they charge money for it. So you don't even have to arrange for additional labor from outside to unpack all those cartons and place all the products in the different rooms in an office. Brand equity, customers' subjective and intangible assessment. So now we come to the subjective assessment, where the personal opinion of the customer is a part of the assessment that she is making or that this gentleman is making. So the customer's subjective and intangible assessment of the brand above and beyond its objectively perceived value. The product is made from the best possible materials, the design is okay, the product has been approved by authority of the federal government. So there is nothing wrong with the value equity of this product. Since this car meets all the automotive international standards, it is the best possible car. But the subjective assessment of the customer is yet to come in. And what are the key drivers on which a customer judges a product on brand equity? Brand equity and customer brand awareness, customer brand attitudes, and customer perception of brand ethics. So the customer focuses on customer brand awareness. How much awareness has this product created for itself over a period of time in the community? Customer brand attitudes, the overall assessment of that brand in terms of its quality, its packaging, its design, the features and benefits it offers, how much convenience it's offering, and ethics, whether the brand has been ethical and whenever they were giving you an offer, did they try to cheat you by decreasing the quality of the brand, or the quality of the brand was never disturbed, and whenever they gave a promotion or a reward, it was a genuine good gesture from the brand. Relationship equity. Customers' tendency to stick with the brand above and beyond objective and subjective assessments of the brand. How is the customer's tendency to stick with the brand above and beyond objective and subjective assessments of the brand? Even if the customer finds out that there is some slight problem with your brand, the relationship is so strong that they will overlook this objective assessment or subjective assessment, and they would still stick to your brand. So they have reached this adherence level with your brand. This is the first bond of relationship that you have formed with the customer, and it is so strong that they even try to look away and forgive your small petty mistakes, and they pass this judgment that this is a very good brand and we are friends with this brand. So the key drivers of relationship equity are loyalty programs. Since they are a part of your loyalty programs for a decade or maybe 2 decades, right? And ever since, they have never experienced any problems with your brand, and your brand has always made them happy, and your brand has been innovative over a period of time. So this was only just one time problem that you faced, and you're trying to forgive them for the service failure that occurred. Special recognition. How does the brand provide you special recognition? Since you are a loyalty member, do they appreciate your relationship? Do they invite you in different programs that they conduct, like if they are holding a festival, so do they send you passes for that? This is like there's a special recognition that they are offering you. If you are a bank customer, you like that bank brand, and on every Eid occasion or of your birthday or your anniversary, they send you gifts, cards, so that means that they are assigning special recognition to yourself, and they treat you as a very special customer. Treatment programs are various type of treatments that if you are in the service industry or if it's just a product, how is the brand treating you over a period of time, because it's like a family relationship that you have with this brand. Community building programs. Then community building programs are either online or they're offline, where you are invited to the company's premises in different focus groups, and they tell you that since you are a very old customer, your opinion matters to us, and we highly rate your opinion, and we would your suggestions, and we would like to have your feedback on this brand, and how we can improve it, and how we can do a good job from what we are currently doing. And knowledge building programs. Whatever new product that you are introducing in the market, or whatever new features that you're trying to build in, you frequently get in touch with your loyalty members online through this community building program, and then you transfer all that knowledge to these people, because they are your very loyal customers who would say positive things about your brand, and who would then convey this knowledge to other people in their social circles. A relationship of customer equity to brand equity. Brand equity management can be related to customer equity management in different ways. One way to reconcile the 2 points of view is to think of a matrix where all the brands and sub-brands and variants. So your relationship of customer equity to brand equity should keep on developing in a positive direction and becoming stronger over a period of time. And you should get close to the customer as much as possible. Why? Because the customer opinions matters, and they are the ones who tell you how to improve. Why? Because they are also exposed to the competitor brands, and they know what the competitor brands are offering them, and especially when they are paying for your brand, when they're acquiring your brand. So at the same time, they have this option of making the same payment and buying your competitor brand. So now you're going to compare customers and brands, and how different segments of customers are interacting with your brand in order to calculate the overall customer equity. Brands of a company offers are rows, and all different customer segments or individual customers that purchase those brands are shown as columns. This is just a hypothetical example that we are trying to quote, and just visualize this, that brands of a company offer are rows, and all the different customer segments or individual customers that purchase the brand are columns. Effective brand and brand management would necessarily take into account both the rows. Why? Because you're focusing on all the different segments of the customers that you are coming into contact with, and columns to arrive at optimal marketing solutions. Why? Because the individual customers, they also matter, and the different segments that you have made your products for, and your sub brands or your variants for, everybody should be looked at in detail when you are trying to generate or create an optimal marketing solution. Difference between the 2 points of view as they have been developed conceptually and put into practice. However, the two perspectives tend to emphasize different aspects. The customer equity perspective puts much focus on the bottom line, financial value, how much revenue I am getting and how much profit am I making, created by customers. Its clear benefit is the quantifiable measure of financial performance it provides. But when you are developing marketing solutions, then you have to develop different marketing programs and different advertisements for the particular segments that you are trying to focus and that you are trying to communicate with through these advertisements. In this calculation, however, the customer equity perspective largely ignores some of the important advantages of creating a strong brand, such as the ability of a strong brand to attract higher quality employees, right? Elicit stronger support from channels. Which channels? Intermediary channels, distributors, wholesalers, retailers, resellers, right? And supply chain partners. Create growth opportunities through line and category extensions and licensing. So if one of your product lines is doing very well, you can create line extensions and add new products, and like what Lay's does is that it keeps on coming up with new variants, new flavors for their existing market, so that their existing market and existing customers are retained by the company. They have something new to taste every few months down the road, and then they stick to your brand and they do not go and try out other flavors that have been introduced by your competitors. Category extension and licensing are other techniques that you can use. If you are in a specific category, you can always add new products that are used by the customer in their regular household during a year, and which are not offered by your company but which can easily be manufactured and offered to the customer. Licensing is a totally different thing, where you are licensing your characters or your brand logo to another brand on rental basis, so that they can also promote it and get mileage from it. How are you going to benefit from this? Their customer base is going to be aware of your brand, and they are going to be exposed to your brand, so they would also sometime end up purchasing your products, and that's how they would be your new customers, and that's how you are going to increase your customer base. Rust and colleagues advocate that customer-centered brand management to firms with following directives that they maintain go against current management convention. Customer-centered brand management is the heart and soul of creating brand equity. Okay, so general management that or conventional management that is done by companies is a separate topic, and Customer management and customer-centered brand management should be left to the brand management department, who know best how to implement it and how to benefit from it. Make brand decisions subservient to decisions about customer relationships. So how are you going to make brand decisions subservient to decisions about customer relationships? Customer relationships are more important. Okay, so whatever your company is thinking about developing a brand, or they're coming up with different promotional activities, all those should be in line with the developing and creating stronger bonds with the customer and making your customer relationship even stronger. So instead of coming up with the marketing programs, first try and give importance to your customer relationships, and then work your way backwards to taking brand decisions that would, when implemented, would help you boost up your customer relationship. Build brand around customer segments. If you are selling tea, I'll give you the example of Tapal tea. Tapal tea is selling various types of different teas, and the tea that they are selling to the lower middle class, that is focused on purely on the low cost. Okay, so the ads that they develop are for that particular consumption of that class, and the ads that they develop for a family, the whole family that which can use this tea, that is a separate brand called Family Mixture. There they show all the different families coming together on any occasion, on a festival or any marriage ceremony, right? And this is a mid-range brand now. So it is priced higher than this value brand, and it is still priced lower than their premium brand. And this is a name, it carries a brand name of Family Mixture. So it is for all the families that want to consume this tea. And this tea is neither very strong and is neither very low quality, you can say, or it has good quality of tea leaves in it, but still it is priced very in the mid range, so that a huge segment of the society can afford the Family Mixture tea. And then they have this premium brand Tapal Danedar. Now the Tapal Danedar is their premium tea, and it is very expensive, and it is for a particular customer segment. So all the three ad campaigns and the marketing programs that they are going to develop would be focused on the customers who will end up using this product, and this marketing campaign and this advertising campaign should also be helpful in creating strong customer relationships, because when you are showing their actual lifestyle and the way they operate in everyday life, those customers, they will associate themselves with your advertisement, and they will feel very good that instead of showing a very different setup where it was a big 10 canal house and there were celebrities moving around, they just showed general public, who are us, who are consumers of their tea, and they showed everybody in their normal work life style, where they were moving around and they were doing their work and at the same time consuming the tea. So people are very happy when they can relate to something, and you are able to build strong relationships with them. So build brands around customer segments, not the other way around. Make your brands as narrow as possible. You don't have to make the brand narrow, but if we look at the customer segment in a very focused way, and then try and adjust your brand according to the needs and wants of that segment, and price it appropriately so that you are able to retain all these customers and they keep on buying your product, they keep on getting value from what they pay, and then they keep on purchasing your product repeatedly, so they remain your loyal customers over a period of time, so that your customer equity keeps on increasing and your company keeps on making money from these customers and benefiting financially. Plan brand extensions based on customer needs, not component similarities. Now, if a customer wants new features in a smartphone, then you are going to give those new features in another variant, whereas you will retain the old existing phone, the base model that those customers are using. Why? Because there will still be customers who would be very satisfied with this phone, which is a basic phone, and it does not have very outclass features and benefits, and the price is just right for a majority of the customers in a particular country or in a particular region. Develop the capability and mindset to hand off customers to other brands in the company, right? The brands that you have made friends with, try and encourage these customers to try out your other products as well. And for starters, you can always give them a trial if it's a very expensive product, or if it's a consumable product, then you can make a small basket of all the other products that your company is selling, and you see that this customer has been with you for last 3 years or 5 years. So on a proper occasion like an Eid occasion or their son's birthday or their anniversary, you should gift them all the different products that you make, and this will enable them to try them out, and then they'll start purchasing them as well. So your brand would make more money from that same customer. Take no heroic measures to save ineffective brands. If a brand is not accepted by the society, it is not working, the customers are not accepting it, so don't invest more in that brand, just take it off the shelf. It was very good in another market, people liked it there, but in this current market they are not accepting it, so you just take it off the shelf. I'll give you the example of Roar. Roar was an energy drink of Coke. Now it's doing quite well in other markets around the world, but in Pakistan the people did not accept it as a product which was useful for them, and then it was an ineffective brand of Coke, which is the market leader in Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola took that brand off the shelf. Okay? Change how you measure the brand equity to make individual level calculations. You have to improvise and see that how you are going to measure brand equity and the subjective assessment of the customers at individual level, because each customer and each income group, then each educated group or in a different segment or with a different social status in the society, the mode of calculation and the mode of assessment should be different for different segments of customers. Brand equity will matter more with low involvement purchases, just like consumables that you are buying on an everyday basis, or t-shirts or other body sprays, perfumes, fast food, movie tickets, things that are low involvement, where you don't need to think very hard before purchasing or acquiring that brand. So brand equity will matter more with low involvement purchases involving simple decision processes when the product is highly visible to others. When experiences associated with the product can be passed from one individual or generation to the next. When it is difficult to evaluate the quality of a product or service prior to consumption. Why? Because you've not experienced that service. You've only heard about it, and if you stay there for half an hour, you can see how that service is being delivered, right? But you have not experienced it yourself. If there's a chair lift in a UBA, you're standing there and you're watching for say half an hour that people go up to that mountain, they sit in that chair lift, and then that chair lift moves across, and then those people get off on the on another mountain. But when you are going to go and sit in it yourself, only then you can experience it, the fear or the excitement or the anxiety when this chairlift is passing and it starts to shake a little, and when you look down, you are way down, and the anxiety that is created, all those feelings can only be experienced by you when you actually go and sit in that chairlift and you take that ride. Brand naming process will be discussed in the next class, and now we are going to recap what we studied today. So we discussed today that the experience associated with the product can be passed from one individual to another generation if they are consumables and there is low involvement in purchasing the brand or acquiring the brand. Then brand equity will matter more with low involvement purchases and where simple decision processes are required. No heroic measures should be taken for ineffective products, and they should be taken off the shelf, and in their place new products are introduced, just like L'Oreal does every year. Make your brands as narrow as possible. Customer needs should be on the top priority when you are trying to create brand extensions. Brand extensions are subservient to the decisions. Customer relationship should take prime importance always up, and customer segments should be focused on when you are developing different marketing communication campaigns. Why? Because all the different segments have different needs and wants, and then they should be projected in that advertisement so that these customers can relate themselves with this advertisement. Customer-centered brand management should be at the prime focus when you are developing marketing programs and you are developing different equity brand equity building measures. Then there are different point of views, that two perspectives tend to emphasize different aspects. That customer equity perspective puts much focus on the bottom line, financial value created by the customers. Brands offers and the customer segments that you are catering are compared with how the brand is servicing each segment and how it is obtaining positive response by ensuring good customer management. Relationship to brand equity should be focused on, and one way to reconcile the 2 points of view is to think of a matrix where all the brands and sub-brands and variants are compared at in one go, so that you can understand how you are developing the customer equity of the brand over a period of time. Relationship equity has 4 key drivers: loyalty programs, relationship special recognition of your customer, treatment programs, community building programs, and knowledge building programs. Brand equity has key drivers that are customer brand awareness, customer brand attitudes, and customer perceptions of brand ethics. Value equity's key drivers are very simple to understand by each and every consumer on earth. Quality, price, convenience. What is the quality that I am being offered? What is the price that I have to pay? And what convenience or benefit will I obtain by spending this money? Rust, Zitmal and Lemon conducted a research, and as a result, customer equity according to them is the discounted lifetime value of a firm's customer base built over a period of time. Monitor the intrinsic retainability of your customers. This is the focus that you would, that's how you can increase or enhance your customer equity if you keep on focusing on the intrinsic retainability of your customers. Track your customers' equity gains and losses over a period of time against the marketing programs that you have implemented. Consider how add-on sales, cross-selling can increase customer equity. Invest in high-value customers first. This is what Bladberg suggested, and this is what we should focus on. The concept of customer equity can be used in that regard, although we can define customer equity in different ways. One definition calls the sum of lifetime values of all customers, and customer lifetime value is affected by revenue and by the cost of customer. Many firms have introduced customer relationship marketing programs, but some marketers encourage firms to formally define and manage the value of their customers. This is all for today, and in a nutshell, customer equity is equal to value equity, which is the objective assessment of the customer about a brand, plus the brand equity, which is the subjective assessment of the customer about the brand, and the relationship equity, which is over and above the objective and subjective assessment about the brand, where the customer attaches with your brand and he loves your brand, and they have this addiction level of loyalty, and they just cannot live without your brand. And that's why they would promote your brand, and they would also request others, their friends and colleagues, to try it out, because they are very satisfied with your customer management and with the way you have treated them, and with all your loyalty programs and the quality that you are offering, with the price that you are charging, and the convenience that they get in return by using your brand. Thank you for your time. Allah Hafiz.